In the world of entertainment, there have been many different rumors and theories. A lot of them have been dismissed, others have been confirmed, and about some, nothing has been said. Among these, a small part of those are too weird, crazy, and creepy to be true. But how can we be so sure they aren't? In the K-pop industry, there's something much more important than talent or skills: appearance. That's a fundamental part of South Korean culture, after all. You can notice it in groups like BTS, whose members look perfect down to the smallest detail. Everyone knows it's made up of 7 guys, right? But there are those who claim that there was an 8th member. I'm not talking about Kim Ji-hoon, since he was eventually rejected, which means there was someone else who made it. Back in 2012, after BTS was formed and before their debut, an 8th member was chosen. His stage name was D-Yul, and he was just as perfect and talented as everyone else. Back then, I was working at Big Hit Music, so I was aware of all that stuff. I know it all started one night. When I was leaving the agency to go home, I saw someone at the entrance, being held back by the security guards.
They rejected me! They rejected me! Why did they do it? They owe me an explanation.
He was a tall, pale man with black hair, all common features in South Korea. The problem was his face. It was really creepy, as if it looked like it had been disfigured in some way. I couldn't help but feel a chill when I saw him. The security guards were holding him back as best they could, but he kept moving and trying to get further into the building. At a certain point, he stopped and stared at me.
You! What are you looking at? Come and help me! I'm owed an explanation!
I approached, but not to speak to him, but to finally leave.
Hey! Don't ignore me! Help me! Don't you know who I am? I'm the 8th member of BTS!
I froze once I heard him. Yeah, sure, man. I'm sorry to break your illusions, but an 8th member has already been chosen, and he doesn't look anything like you.
You don't get it! I'm the most appropriate candidate. I am a prodigy. No one else could match my skills. I deserve—
I'm sorry, but as far as I know, they don't want another member, and they won't change the one they already chose. I advise you go home and forget about this.
They owe me an explanation. I want to know why I wasn't chosen. I need a good reason.
Trust me, there is one. This whole situation seemed absurd to me. I wondered if that man hadn't looked at himself in the mirror as he thought about why he was rejected. He had to be crazy. Anyway, weeks later, during a normal workday, I went up the elevator and got off at the floor where my office was. As usual, I started to work, but something stopped me. I began to hear voices that seemed to be arguing, but I couldn't understand what they were saying as the walls were soundproof. Still, I was worried because it wasn't a common situation. As I left my office, I stared down the hallway. Suddenly, some security guards bumped into me as they ran to get to one of the rooms. Concerned, I watched as they entered the office of one of the company representatives.
Get him out of here! I have no idea how he got in! Don't touch me! I'm not done!
It was that man again.
You're a coward! Useless! How can you turn me down and not even have a reason to? We don't have to give you an explanation.
I didn't hesitate to slowly approach.
If you don't have a good reason, I deserve to be a part of BTS way more than fucking D-Yul! Get him out of—
It's because of your appearance. He stood still and turned to look at me after I spoke.
I want to hear it from his mouth!
It's true. Beauty standards. Your face is unacceptable to represent BTS. I thought it was obvious.
It happened in the military service. I was doing my duty. Isn't that honorable?
Not here. Get him out. This time, when the security guards tried to move him, he didn't put up any resistance. The moment the man walked past me, he smiled in the creepiest way I've ever seen in my entire life. After that incident, the weeks passed and the year ended, but the man didn't show up again. One day, hours after dark, I started packing everything up to go home. On that occasion, the elevator was broken, so I used the stairs. It was when I got to the second floor that I noticed the door open, and I started to hear some noises. Almost everyone was supposed to be gone by that time, so I went to see what was going on in case someone needed help. I started walking down the hall trying to identify where the sound was coming from, the second room on the right. Just before I reached the door, the noises stopped. Slowly, I opened the door, went in, and turned on the light. I didn't even have time to look around, as I soon passed out. When I woke up, the first thing I saw was an unconscious D. Yule in front of me on the other side of the room. I started to tremble as soon as I noticed the cuts he had all over his face and body.
Do you like what I did? I haven't finished yet.
I felt as if my heart stopped beating for an instant, but I still turned my head to the left. There was that man again.
Oh, come on, don't make that face. I did what I had to do. You guys wanted a perfect 8th member, right? I guess you won't have him anymore. It's not his fault, it's yours. You should have changed. You should have had plastic surgery and... You all live in a lie. Even if my face was acceptable, you would want more. You are so selfish. Have you thought about your children? How they'll feel about being so ugly compared to their parents? It's all a fucking selfish lie that doesn't really solve anything.
The man got up and started walking towards the 8th member.
Wait! I will show everyone. Everyone!
I will never forget what I saw and what I heard. The man took a knife and began to make more cuts on D. Yule's face, but this time much deeper. At some point, D. Yule stopped struggling, and I knew he was dead.
You'll pay for this.
I know. Suddenly, I watched as he grabbed the knife and cut his own throat.
Ah!
I don't know exactly when it was, but they found us. Then they took the 2 bodies away and never spoke about what happened again. But I still think of D. Yule when I watch the music video for I Need You, where the other members burn his possessions.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the video. If so, please leave a like. And also, a small percentage of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. If you want to support this channel and make this channel reach the 1 million mark, please consider subscribing. It's free and you can change your mind later. Enjoy.
A young fan by the name of Kaylee had posted this shocking photo on Twitter after a friend had dared her. Kaylee revealed that the conversation went like this. Kaylee said to her friend, "BTS are so beautiful I could shove a hammer in my mouth." Her friend called her out on her bluff, and she was willing to prove them wrong. The story you're about to see is loosely based on this crazy fan who went too far with her obsession over BTS. For entertainment purposes, IMR has added a fictional spin-off to the story for their fans. Enjoy. There's a saying that too much of anything isn't good. I can assure you whoever said it ain't kidding. I'm Jackson. I go to Mulberry High. My best friend Noah is a funny guy, and accidentally his cousin Hannah is my girlfriend. So their sibling rivalry is always going on, be it at their house or at school. Noah always comes up with new pranks and ideas to piss Hannah off. Just the basic sibling stuff, which never caused anyone harm. But one thing I resented about my girlfriend was her extreme obsession with Bangtan boys, or commonly identified as BTS. Hannah is a huge K-pop fan and her favorite band is BTS. She loves the Korean boy band to such an extent that sometimes I feel insecure that if she ever met them, she will certainly dump me. Anyways, so this one time we were chilling at the school cafeteria. Everyone was cracking jokes and talking like usual. Only Hannah was watching some BTS interviews. She was so into the video that instead of the water, she picked up the ketchup and poured it inside her mouth without taking her eyes off the video. She realized her mistake once the extreme tangy and sauciness hit her tongue, and she began coughing like crazy. Her eyes went bloodshot, and her veins in the forehead popped up, turning her face blue. Holy smokes, Hannah!
Water.
Hannah, are you all right?
Water!
We gave her water, but the ketchup caught up in her throat, making it so dry that she puked on her plate. Everyone moved away from the table in disgust, and Hannah felt extremely embarrassed. I gave her some water, which she finished in one gulp, and then looked around. Everyone was staring at her for causing the scene.
I didn't realize it was ketchup.
Damn, Hannah, how careless can you be? Someone needs to cut off your internet connection so you can't watch any more BTS.
What?
As soon as Noah said it, I saw Hannah's face turning red in anger.
You suck, Noah.
Saying this, she stormed out of the cafeteria. I followed her for obvious reasons, and the entire day kept her away from Noah. For the moment, things mellowed down, but I realized her love for BTS was reaching a pretty disturbing level. A few days later, we were sitting in our biology class when our principal walked in with a new girl. The girl looked shy and nervous. What I noticed about her first was her t-shirt. She had a picture of all the BTS members on it. Noah saw that too, and he said in a low voice to Hannah, "Looks like you got some competition, dear sister."
Shut up, Noah.
She warned him, but I noticed her face turning unhappy the moment she saw the new girl. So this new girl introduced herself as Betsy and joined our class that day. Even though she seemed reserved at first glance, gradually she opened up. One day I was walking past our chemistry lab when I saw Noah kissing the new girl. Even though Noah didn't see me, Betsy noticed me staring at them. The way she stared kind of creeped me out, and I immediately walked away. After the lunch break, we met up behind the school area to smoke, and Noah brought Betsy with him. Hannah and I weren't expecting her, so things got a bit awkward. Hannah looked at Betsy and asked,
Did someone give you that BTS t-shirt, or are you a fan too? I ain't a fan. I worship them.
Even though Hannah asked her in a casual tone, she replied in an intimidating way.
Then you must be knowing everything about them, huh? Yes, every single thing about them. Really? Do you know what Jungkook wanted to do before he joined BTS? No. Do you? He wanted to be a tattoo artist. Seems like you're not as crazy about them as I am.
Hannah laughed, venturing her victorious chuckle, and Betsy went all pissed off, losing the battle even before it began. Realizing the tension between these two, Noah said funnily, Seems like you two girls are bonding.
Just because you did some trivia doesn't mean you're a bigger fan than I am. True fandom means how far you're willing to go for your idol. And I can beat anyone on that front. I don't think so.
Hannah lit up her cigarette, and suddenly Betsy snatched the lighter from her hand and did something unthinkable.
Can you do this for BTS?
She turned on the lighter and held the flame on her tongue. We all gasped in horror as smoke came out of her burning tongue, yet she didn't even flinch. Her skin started to burn, and we all looked at her with frightful eyes. Noah threw the lighter away and screamed,
Oh my god, are you crazy?
Tell that to your sister. She's the one who wanted to challenge me.
Hannah was stunned to speak, and I too had no words. Betsy walked away, and Noah followed her while lecturing her about how dangerous it was, what she just did. Hannah didn't speak the entire way. I couldn't tell what made her more upset. The scary stunt that Betsy pulled off, or the fact that she proved that she could go to any extent for BTS way more than Hannah. That night, we had a party to attend. One of our seniors was throwing it in his farmhouse. At first, Hannah didn't want to go, but once Noah told her Betsy will be there, she agreed right away. I knew at that very moment, something bad was going to happen tonight. We reached the party, and I tried my best to keep Hannah away from Betsy, but they eventually came face to face. Hannah chugged off her third beer and said,
I'm a bigger fan than you, you witch. Let's have a contest then. Fine.
We were standing in the backyard where in one corner there was a toolbox. Betsy walked to it and took out a hammer from the box. Betsy, what are you going to do?
I can fit this hammer in my mouth and prove to you that I am the biggest fan of BTS. No way! You're a freak, Betsy. What? What did you call me?
Betsy opened her mouth and tried shoving the hammer inside, but even after 3 to 4 tries, she couldn't. Hannah laughed at her and called her a freak again. Not being able to take this insult, Betsy suddenly picked up a screwdriver from the box and started slitting the corners of her mouth to make her jaw open wide. Everyone at the party began screaming at this horrible sight. The sound of flesh cutting along with her painful cry still echoes in my ears. Once she got done with this violent act, she wiped her bloody mouth with her handkerchief and shoved the hammer right inside. She started chuckling like that while the hammer remained in her slitted mouth. I wouldn't have been scared if I had seen a ghost, but this particular memory still makes my skin crawl. Hannah screamed in horror and collapsed to the ground. We called the paramedics and Betsy was taken to the hospital. Noah went to see her in the hospital, but her parents didn't let him go near her. I don't know why Betsy's parents think it was our fault, and they took her away once she got discharged. I still believe that wasn't the first time this girl harmed herself to prove her point. Why would she come to our school in the middle of the term? What do you think? In this video, we will meet Ollie London. This controversial internet figure obsessed with being just like Jimin from BTS to the point of having surgery on his entire face gained a lot of fame from his strange personality. Some say he's funny, but in this dramatization based on theories that circulate the network, we will see a dark side that no one knows that this character could potentially have. My name is James. I was always a very fanatic rock person. So when BTS exploded, I wasn't very attracted to the band. Unlike me, Mary, my best friend, was obsessed with its members. I had a weird friendship with Mary. Growing up, we never got along, but since we were neighbors, our parents forced us to spend time together. Eventually, we became friends, and years later, when I moved out on my own, we still saw each other.
You have to come, James. I promise it'll be worth it. When you see as many fans as I do, I'm sure you'll be passionate about BTS too.
I don't know. Maybe it's not my thing.
Oh, please. We'll even have the meeting at a celebrity's house.
Okay, I'll go. But only for you. I was hesitant to go. I felt that I was left over in that place and BTS fans had a bad reputation. But when I got to the meeting, my opinion changed. Everyone seemed to be very nice. They made me feel like I was one of them very quickly. They were very passionate about the band, all except for one person, the owner of the house, who I knew was an internet celebrity, but for the wrong reasons. Ollie London was always a controversial figure. This man went viral on the internet for having several surgeries to be identical to Jimin, a member of BTS. Criticism on the internet was not long in coming, that he didn't respect the band, that he was just looking for attention, that what he was doing was cultural appropriation, and in general, he was not well liked. As soon as she saw him arrive with drinks, Mary screamed with excitement and went to hug him, but he ignored her. The man only looked at me obsessively.
Oh my god, your skin is so beautiful.
Thank you?
Look at your skin. My god, it's perfect. Your complexion, your build, your features. You look just like him.
You mean the cute guy from BTS? Suddenly, the place was filled with silence and everyone looked at me in bewilderment.
Cute guy from BTS. His name is Jimin. Didn't you know?
I'm sorry? It's just that I'm not a fan of the band. I just came here to accompany...
What do you mean you're not a BTS fan? You who are privileged with that face. You come here to make fun of us?
No, I didn't want to disrespect. I'll leave.
No,
don't go.
This is my fault. I'm sorry. I'm a little excited. How about you stay here after the meeting and I'll get you a cup of tea?
I don't think that would be good.
Yes, we'll stay.
Mary covered my mouth, vouching for me, to which I resignedly agreed. The rest of the day was somewhat awkward after that encounter. No fan was smiling like before. Mary, on the other hand, was full of joy, as if the best was yet to come. Everyone left a little earlier than expected, and against my better judgment, Mary and I were left alone with Ollie. "So, nice house," I said uncomfortably, to break the silence.
"Did you always have such beautiful, perfect skin, Jamie?"
"My name is James."
Yes, whatever. People must stop you on the street all the time, right? You look just like Jimin.
Actually, I'm not much alike. I'm just Oriental.
It's so humble.
I'll go get the tea, darlings. Don't move from here. Mary, we have to go. Now.
What? Why? Oli is offering you his tea.
Don't you see, Mary? That man is crazy. Surely he'll poison us.
Okay, you're right. There's something fishy going on here. Let's go.
Yes! Finally you understood. Let's go.
I started to walk slowly away from the house while Mary followed me from behind, but suddenly I felt an impact on my head. My knees began to weaken and I fell to the ground. As my eyes closed, I could see in my last conscious second Mary standing behind me with a broken vase in her hand. My eyes began to open. At first, I didn't know where I was or what had happened. I felt a strange sensation on my face as if something was squeezing me. As I was remembering what happened, a horrible stabbing pain went through my whole face. I tried to move, but I couldn't. I was tied up. I looked ahead and was frightened. I was looking at a mirror, and in it, I could see that my whole face, except for my eyes and nose, was bandaged.
I see you've woken up, honey.
In front of me was Ollie, but something was wrong. His face was much uglier than before. He had a huge amount of skin taped to his face. His twisted gaze was more intense than ever. It felt like he could pierce me with his eyes.
I understand that you must be very confused. Your friend is really violent. Hey, shh. This is going to be hard to process, so I'll just say it straight out. See this beautiful skin covering my face? This is your skin. I pulled it off your face while you were sleeping. But listen, I'm not a monster. I understand that you're ugly now because of me, but I'll fix it.
Without allowing me to give him an answer, Ollie moved my chair to the mirror and from a drawer took out a makeup kit. I could do nothing but cry. I was helpless, at the mercy of whatever this psychopath who stuck my skin to his face could do to me. After I settled down in front of the mirror, he kept looking at me with those schizophrenic eyes and started to paint some lips on the bandages while my tears were running through his fingers.
Hey, you have to be careful with your friend, you know? She's crazy.
I didn't answer. I just kept crying.
To tell you the truth, this was all her idea. I'm sorry to tell you that she brought you here on purpose. It's unbelievable what some crazy fans can do for you.
While Ollie was still doing my makeup, his face was almost glued to mine. I could see pieces of skin falling on my body. While this was happening, I had managed to free myself from the badly tied rope in my hands and was ready to escape. But to tell the truth, I was afraid. Ollie didn't take an eye off me, staring at me unblinkingly, obsessed with not missing a second of what was left of my face with his makeup. When he finished using the lipstick, he let go of it to grab the eyeliner, and in that brief moment of distraction, I slammed it against the wall and started to run away from the house. As I ran, I could see how his face had hit the wall, and all the pieces of my skin were falling off.
Oh my god, my face! How could you do this to me?
Without paying attention to him, I ran out of his house. As soon as I got out, I tried to take the bandage out of my mouth so I could scream for help, but I stopped when I felt something stinging on my back. It was Mary, with a knife in my back.
Hey, buddy. I hope you don't tell anything about what happened today. Make up a good excuse. Remember, I'm still your parents' neighbor. You don't want to make me mad.
At her threat, I just nodded, and before I knew it, I was alone. Mary had entered Ollie's house. It had been several months since the incident happened. I still can't bring myself to see my parents and friends. I told them I left the country for a big surprise business deal. I'm constantly going to surgery to try to get back on the streets. I never saw Mary again, but my parents always tell me that she always comes to visit them. As for Ollie, I received a box in the mail that he sent me. When I opened it, there were some pieces of my skin that Mary tore off, and next to it, a letter and some chocolates. In the letter, Ollie told me that the surgeon said that he could not attach the skin, and that as an apology, he would return it to me and give me some chocolates. When I read this, I fell to the floor and started crying. I would never again go to any meeting of fans of anything.